Watch the 10 o'clock report tonight on News Channel 14.
This is KGWC News Channel 14 at 10 with Greg Flatiger, Chris Emig with weather, and Josh Earl with sports. News Channel 14 at 10 starts now.
Good evening, I'm Greg Flatiger. Thank you for joining us. Governor Dave Friedenthal is among a host of dignitaries speaking to a statewide conference on school safety in Casper this week. About 100 people are attending the sessions, which stemmed from a federal program against guns in schools.
And as part of the grant requirements, this year we were directed that a third of the money that was provided to us was supposed to address issues involving juveniles and guns. In other districts across this country who have a lot of problems with a lot of gang activities and drive-by shootings, the money that is being provided by the feds are being used for prosecution of juveniles in gun crimes. We don't have those kind of numbers in our state, so basically we looked at additional data, and we look at the WIBRS data, and that's basically the data that is collected through a survey of high school students in our schools across Wyoming. And we have found out that over the last 4 years, we have averaged 11% of the kids in high school are self-reporting that they have taken a weapon to school. Don't know what kind of weapons that might be, what the circumstances or where they're located, but that was enough of a concern that basically what we decided to do, when I say we, Wyoming Project Guardian, is to take that money and take a preventative approach.
The governor commended efforts to bring a variety of agencies and approaches into the plan.
On the basis of trying to modify human behavior, but ultimately it has its origins in human values. And whether it be from a faith-based organization or from Boys Girls Clubs or anywhere else or from the family, the premise that has to be adopted is that you change values and you'll change behavior. If you simply regulate behavior, all you've done is impose the kind of straitjacket from which the behavior is yet to escape, but it will at some point. So I believe it is entirely appropriate for us to look at a broad range of participants in these issues.
The principal at Roosevelt High School in Casper said a zero tolerance for violence approach has worked there.
Roosevelt High School, we've seen a sharp decline in incidences of violence at school because of the zero tolerance policies. And if students are involved in any kind of a physical act, they're being cited, they're being brought before the judges, and they're being fined very heavily for using any type of physical violence at Roosevelt. And that seems to curtailed a lot of what's happened. And we also went a second step this year, and students are now cited for using profanity at school.
The program continues through Wednesday. American history instruction received a $1 million boost in the Casper area schools today with the award of a federal grant. The money will finance a 3-year program to assist social studies and history instructors in school district number 1.
We really feel that this is the first year of this 3-year grant, and we really feel that with this professional development that Casper teachers will really help student achievement in Casper around the area of social studies and U.S. history in particular just get better and better. So thank you very much.
Meanwhile, tonight, the School District 1 Board is ratifying a proposal that will add the equivalent of some 12 teachers in order to reduce class sizes. The money is part of a Title II-A fund of $675,000.
And so what we're doing is maintaining a low class size, a reasonable class size of about 21 students per classroom, 21, 22. And we're working with the other purpose of Title II-A is to improve the quality of the teachers themselves. In other words, provide professional development and training opportunities so that the teachers deliver more effective practices in their classrooms. So it's a dual purpose, ensuring that we have enough classroom teachers to lower the class size, and then providing the proper training for teachers so that they can deliver instruction in an effective manner.
The board will also be upgrading foreign language texts and materials from Russian to Japanese. 3 rings valued at some $5,000 are missing following the death of an elderly Douglas woman at the Wyoming Medical Center earlier this month. And while the circumstances surrounding the disappearance are still under investigation, both police and hospital officials say it's a reminder to be cautious.
We would encourage people to not come to the hospital with valuables or large sums of money if at all possible. We would encourage them, if you're coming in for a procedure, to leave those at home or with a family member or a loved one that could take care of those for you. If you do end up in the hospital with money or credit cards or valuables that you would like safeguarded, you just need to talk to your nurse, and then they can make arrangements to have those items placed in a safe while you're in the hospital, and they can be returned to you upon your discharge.
Well, if you're going into the hospital, obviously things like valuable jewelry and watches and things of that nature, you'd want to leave at home or leave with a relative.
Baker said they keep track of all reports for trends, and theft is a rarity at the hospital in Casper. An oilfield roustabout had his foot crushed by a train this morning when he tried to hop it as he was waiting for it to pass. The Natrona County Sheriff's Office reported that 39-year-old Larry Utterback was stopped in a truck at the railroad crossing just east of Powder River about 10 this morning when he apparently decided to jump onto the Burlington Northern Santa Fe car with the idea of getting off just on the other side. However, his left foot got caught and was crushed in the attempt. Utterback was life-flighted to the Wyoming Medical Center for treatment. Casper police are investigating an armed robbery of Party Time Liquors yesterday. Reports say a man came into the store wanting something to drink but did not have any money. When he was told no, he pulled a knife on the clerk, grabbed a few bottles of liquor and fled. Police say he was described as a white male in his 30s, about 5'6". Wildlife officials now believe a young gray wolf found dead along Interstate 80 near Denver wandered in from Yellowstone National Park. The wolf died of a broken back and internal injuries commensurate with being hit by a car, and there had been reports of a wolf in the area. Some suspected the wolf may have been brought in. The radio-collared animal was last detected in Yellowstone in mid-January, some 420 miles away. A Casper woman, Kitty Michelle Turk, and her boyfriend, Michael Ludovic, were arrested Saturday for allegedly burglarizing her parents' home on Gardenia Street in Casper. The couple were arrested near Robertson Road Bridge as they were arguing. Authorities recovered 2 pistols, 2 rifles, among other items from the residence. And now turning to weather, the temperatures were on the rise around Casper today. Chris, what can we expect in the forecast?
Well, Greg, it was a nice warm day, but then we had some thunderstorms passing overhead this afternoon, and, well, we can expect some more. Weather conditions are pretty unsettled right now, thus causing these scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some of these afternoon storms could become heavy at times, producing large hail and strong winds. And these stronger storms are expected to remain in the forecast at least through Wednesday, so do take precautions in case you get caught in one. And right now, let's start by taking a look at what happened across the country today. Not too bad of weather conditions out there. Scattered areas of rain showers and thunderstorms from Oregon across to the Atlantic coastline. Low pressure zones are moving in from the Pacific coast and pushing the high pressure across to the east. And that same high pressure is keeping most of the precipitation to the southern states and out to the eastern coastline. And now here, let's take a look at what we're going to see across our area. Tonight, we're going to have partly cloudy skies and a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms throughout the night. We're going to get an overnight low tonight down around 49 degrees, and winds will remain mostly mild from the northeast, around 8 to 10 miles per hour. And then tomorrow, partly cloudy skies and a 20% chance of showers throughout the day. We're going to get a high up around a nice warm 81 degrees tomorrow, and winds are going to remain very mild, actually, from the southwest, around just 3 to 7 and possibly 10 miles per hour. And then tomorrow night, pretty much the same. Partly cloudy skies and 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Thunderstorms are going to be heavier in the afternoon hours. We're going to get an overnight low down around 51 degrees tomorrow. It's warming up a bit. And winds from the southwest right around 10 miles per hour. And so heavy afternoon thunderstorms are in the outlook for the next few days, possibly becoming severe at times with hail and high winds. The coverage is looking to be mostly across Fremont and Natrona counties for tonight and tomorrow, and these heavier storms will remain possible at least through Wednesday, but then drier air will start to return to the area. And that's the outlook for the next few days. Let's see what's happening in sports with Josh Earl.
Thanks, Chris. Well, do you know how hard it is to strike out a professional baseball player? I'm going to say pretty hard. Not to Samuel Deduno, though, the Casper Rockies pitcher. He struck out 21 batters in only 10 innings this year. It just hasn't turned into a win for him yet. That's been the case for the entire Rockies team this year. They're playing extremely well, but they just can't seem to find a win. They're 3-5 on the year. They're hoping to improve on that record tonight with Idaho Falls in town. The Charkers would get on the board first, and they led it 1-0 when Rockies pitcher Angelo Manzueta gets tangled up in the mound, and that's a balk, and the runner at first moves over to second. That proves to be a mistake because now the base hit brings that run around to score, and it's now 2-0 Idaho Falls. Rockies turn to bat in the second, and Seth Smith leads things off with a single to right field. Justin Nelson gets his turn next, and he takes advantage. Same result, single this time to left. After Mike Davies' sacrifice moved the runner over to second, Ryan Fox, the catcher, takes this one deep to center. It's going to be an out, but it's deep enough to score the run. And the Rocks pull within one. That's the last report we had from Mike Lansing Field. And the Colorado Rockies are off tonight, but there's no other finals in the Bigs. That's all for now, but I'll be back with the rest of the day's headlines in about 10 minutes. Greg?
Thanks, Josh. We'll be back with more news, weather, and sports after this.
On the next Just Shoot Me, Elliot's old rival is back.
Hey, you look like you've been working out.
Yeah, you know. Oh! And he's coming between Elliot and Maya.
Maya and I were going to take my motorcycle, you know, the one without the third wheel.
So jealous Elliot strikes back.
Isn't she beautiful?
I love popcorn shrimp.
I'm smitten.
Watch the next Just Shoot Me.
Weeknights at 11:30 on Wyoming's Fox TV.
Should I be worried that I'm not home and you're here alone with another man?
John? Yeah.
Has Becker lost it?
Do you think I'm attractive?
You mean as a man?
See Becker's desperate attempt.
Hey, ladies.
To prove he's still hot.
Lose something?
I know you're attracted to me.
Ew.
Next Becker.
Use the word ew in a sentence.
You mean like, ew, I just stepped in something disgusting?
Weeknights at 9:30 on Wyoming's Fox TV.
Drew's ready for religion.
I'm thinking about becoming a minister.
Oh, well, I'm going to study with Baryshnikov to be a prima ballerina.
The new Drew has to learn to turn the other cheek.
Well, I hope we're not talking about your butt, because I don't have all day.
But is religion ready for Drew?
Kind of a problem I wanted to talk to you about. Would you like to step into my rectory? Shut up, Oswald.
This rectory of yours doesn't happen to have a pew in it.
Weekdays at 5:30 on Wyoming's Fox TV.
Bernie's done some crazy things.
How you guys doing over there at the kids' table?
My hat has a buckle on it.
But celebrating Thanksgiving in June with vegetarians?
Nothing says Thanksgiving like nutlo.
It's an all-new Lost episode.
Come on, man. I love this boy so much I can just eat him.
Bernie Mac.
A jury's decision.
I didn't kill the priest.
Will mean life or death.
This jury's gonna kill me.
The jury.
Taking a look at some top national and international news. In a surprise move to thwart militant undermining, Iraq's new leaders accepted their nation 2 days early with limited power from the U.S. military. We have more in this report.
Within hours of the power handover to Iraqis, U.S. troops were taking down barriers and barbed wire from parts of Baghdad. Those troops will remain on duty here, but it's a sign that Iraqi security forces will take on a more prominent role.
We feel that we are capable and in control of the situation and of the security situation.
Some Iraqis celebrated the handover, but the violence continued in parts of the country. Today, a British soldier was killed in Basra, and an Iraqi police officer was killed by an explosion near Tikrit.
Thousands of Iraqis have died to bring about a free Iraq. They still die to defeat the anti-democratic forces and foreign terrorists who want to return Iraq to its dark past.
The former head of Iraq, Saddam Hussein, is set to go before an Iraqi judge just days from now, one of the top priorities for this new government.
They obviously, as a sovereign government, have asked us to retain physical custody, but they have the responsibility for him as of today.
President Bush learned that the handover had officially taken place by a handwritten note by his national security advisor, Condoleezza Rice. The president wrote back, "Let freedom reign."
The Iraqi people have their country back. This is a day of great hope for Iraqis, and a day that terrorist enemies hoped never to see.
After handing over power to the new Iraqi government, Paul Bremer, the now former head of the Coalition Provisional Authority, left the country. A symbolic move meant to show Iraqis are now in control of their own destiny. In Baghdad, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
The U.S. Supreme Court ruled today the war on terrorism does not give the government a blank check to hold a U.S. citizen and foreign-born terror suspects and indefinitely deny them access to the courts. The United States resumed direct diplomatic ties with Libya today after a 24-year break, even as the Bush administration pursued reports that Muammar Gaddafi had taken part in a plot to assassinate Saudi Arabia's crown prince. An early transfer of power in Iraq and dropping oil prices, however, were not enough to stop investor uncertainty about the Federal Reserve's imminent decision on interest rates. Stocks ended the day lower. The Dow was down 14.75. The Nasdaq was off 5.65. Turning now to more on regional and local forecasts, here's Chris.
Thanks, Greg. Well, tonight we're going to get an overnight low down around 49 degrees across central Wyoming, along with partly cloudy skies and a 30% chance of isolated rain showers and possible thunderstorms throughout the night. The winds are going to remain quite mild, actually, coming in from the northeast, around 8 to 10 miles per hour. And tomorrow we should get an afternoon high up around a warm 81 degrees, along with partly cloudy skies and a 20% chance of rain showers throughout the day, and very mild wind conditions around just 3 to 7 miles per hour from the southwest. And now let's take a look at what the temperatures are like across the nation today. It was quite mild throughout the middle here. 70 degrees in Denver, 76 in Kansas City, 73 in Chicago. Out in New York, 74, 78 degrees for Washington, D.C. Down in Miami, it was a little bit cooler, it's 80 degrees. 79 for Albuquerque, 71 for Los Angeles, and a nice warm 77 degrees up in Seattle. And here's a look at our regional satellite. We had clear skies for the most part today, and then once we got into the afternoon hours, it all changed. Areas of rain developed across most of the western states and into the Rockies. Thus, we'll be seeing these isolated and scattered rain showers and thunderstorms throughout the night. And here's a look at the national satellite. Most of the rain was held to the southern eastern states today until this afternoon, when the rain showers developed out west from parts of California and across. Precipitation in the southern states became heavy and will continue throughout the night. And then up along the Atlantic coast, a little break in the weather and just a few areas of precipitation in northeastern Ohio and Pennsylvania. And here's a look at the overnight lows for our area tonight. We'll see 48 degrees here in Casper, 51 out in Douglas. Up in Gillette, 53 degrees, Sheridan 55. Lander and Riverton will be about 53 degrees tonight. Down to the south, it's 51 in Cheyenne, 43 in Laramie, 53 degrees out in Rock Springs tonight, 52 in Evanston, and a cool 43 degrees in Jackson. And here's a look at tomorrow's afternoon highs. We should see a warm 82, 81 degrees here in Casper, 84 out in Douglas, 85 up in Gillette tomorrow. Sheridan's going to be our hot spot at 88 degrees tomorrow. Down south, a little bit cooler in Cheyenne at just 78, 71 for Laramie, 77 for Rollins, 78 degrees in Rock Springs, 72 in Evanston, and a cooler 62 up in Yellowstone. And here's a look at the 24-hour forecast. Western states will remain mostly clear tomorrow, but low pressure is starting to make a presence. The Central Plains will be mostly clear as well, and more rains and thunderstorms will dominate the south from all over Texas and across to Georgia. And here's a look at our 5-day forecast for the week ahead. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow and a 20% chance of rain showers throughout the day. We'll see an afternoon high up around 82 degrees and the overnight low tomorrow down around 52. Wednesday, partly cloudy and a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms. I'll see a high around 87. Thursday is going to get a bit warmer. We'll see partly cloudy skies and a chance of showers with a high near 88 degrees. Friday is going to back off a little bit. We'll just a slight chance of showers and a high near 86. And then Saturday should be partly cloudy with a high near 84. And so temperatures are going to start climbing back up over the coming week, and we could see highs up close to the 90s by week's end. Showers and thunderstorms will remain very much a possibility throughout the week, especially in the afternoon hours, as we continue to see moist and unstable weather and patterns east of the Continental Divide. And so now we're going to take a quick break, so stay with us and we'll be back with some more local and regional news after this.
Tuesday, tensions rise.
Why are you worried about food? You're not going to eat.
I eat when I'm hungry and I stop eating when I'm full.
And accusations fly.
I've never had an eating problem.
When Elise is put in the spotlight.
She's killing herself. There's no other way to put it.
Only 6 women left on America's Next Top Model. But first, a lesson about the birds and the bees. Then, lay your eyes on super hottie Boris Kojo.
I don't like the looks of that guy.
You about the only one.
Next time on Extreme Dating.
How do you feel about me?
I think you're a beautiful person.
Is she his dream date?
Honey, you don't have to be a psychic to tell you're not into him.
Or his worst nightmare?
You can't even have a conversation right now. Her ego and her hair, I don't know what's bigger.
Next time on Extreme Dating.
Do you want an exciting job in the constantly growing communications industry? Well, right now, Wyomedia has an immediate opening for an entry-level master control operator. Now you too can have a job in broadcasting. We provide training and start you out at competitive wages. Join the Wyomedia team in bringing quality television to Wyoming and get a fun and exciting job that's similar to operating your own home computer. To apply, come to Wyomedia at 1856 Skyview Drive, just north of the port of entry in Casper.
Taking a look at more local and regional news. UW President Philip Dubois has had his contract extended by another 3 years, taking him through 2008. The College Board said he had brought renewed energy and vision to the state's only four-year college. Sage grouse numbers across the West have gradually increased in recent years, that according to a 700-page study by state wildlife managers, including the Wyoming Game and Fish Department. The study showed a drastic decline in the sage grouse between the 1960s and 80s, tapering down and then showing a gradual increase in recent years. Farmers in Laramie, Goshen, and Niobrara counties are eligible for low-interest emergency loans under an Ag Department ruling that they are contiguous with drought disaster counties in Nebraska. And this weekend was the annual Powder River Sheep Festival with something for all comers, including a Calcutta. Leslie Hendry explains.
For each event, we have contestants that enter, and so then we ask the crowd to participate by betting on these contestants. Generally, the figures can range from $20 to sometimes $400. We had a $400 bet yesterday for one of the dogs. We give 20% comes back to the fair. The other 10%, by law, we have to give to charitable organizations. The 80% that's left, we split between first, second, and third place.
Looks like fun. And now turning to Dr. Phil's tip of the day, he speaks of family.
Our tip today has to do with guiding your family through the terrain of life that we face in modern times. There are so very many threats out there today. Think about it. We face so many different stimuli, so many different temptations, so many different distractions than we did just a generation ago. We are a two-income society now, and that means that moms and dads alike are distracted and they're tired. There's no question about it. What I'm asking you to do is take time out to really evaluate where you are. There are very few disasters that occur in families, whether it's a kid showing up on drugs or a marriage taking a wrong turn and headed in the wrong direction. There are very few of these things that just truly come out of the blue. There are warning signs. Disasters leave clues before they happen. Call time out. Consider your own situation and your own family.
You can watch more of Dr. Phil each weekday at 3 on KGWC News Channel 14. And here with more on the latest in sports is Josh.
Thanks, Greg. Well, it was a make-or-break weekend for the Wyoming Cavalry, one of those situations where they absolutely had to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. See, going in, all they needed was to win their final two games and for Utah to lose their final game, and they'd be in the playoffs. Well, the Cavs took care of their business on Friday night when the Black Hills Red Dogs came to town. Matt Strand and the boys rolled over the Red Dogs 51-39 at the event center, and they felt pretty good about their situation. All that was left was to sit back and wait for the score of the Billings-Utah game. Billings is one of the top teams in the league, and Utah isn't. It should have been a blowout, and it was. Only Utah was doing the victory dance in the end. The Warriors won the game 53-30, and that ends the playoff hopes of the Cavalry. All that's left now is Billings' home game on the 4th of July when they can seek some revenge on their rivals. Well, the Casper Oilers are here in town today, which can't be said very often. This team spends more time on the road than most truck drivers. They just returned from Casper from Omaha, where they had a fantastic showing. They went 6-1 and finished second behind a team from Chicago. The Oilers are sitting at 25-8 this year, And they'll head back to Nebraska tomorrow for a doubleheader in Scottsbluff, and then come back on Wednesday, only to leave on Thursday for a tournament in Idaho Falls. We'll try to catch up with them on Wednesday before they head back out. Nuggets General Manager Kiki Vandeweghe is denying reports from the New York Post that he will fire head coach Jeff Bzdelik as soon as this week. The source told the paper that once Bzdelik is out, Indiana assistant coach Mike Brown could be a top candidate, as could former Sonics and Bucks coach George Karl. If this does happen, don't be surprised to see Kiki throw a lot of money towards Phil Jackson. Like I said, Kiki has denied the reports, saying they're not true, but you know what that means. Speaking of those Nuggets, their #1 draft pick met with his new team today. Jameer Nelson, the College Player of the Year, was traded to Orlando from Denver after they drafted him with the 20th overall pick. Denver came away from the draft without a single player, but more than that, they came away with more than $1 million of extra cap space and a future #1 draft pick. Over at Wimbledon, they're scrambling to catch up after rain have put them behind as many as 150 matches. Men's #1 Roger Federer didn't really struggle through his match, but you could easily say that he did. His opponent, Ivo Karlovic, pushed him to tiebreakers in 2 sets, but Federer survived 6-3, 7-6, and 7-6. Andy Roddick, the highest-seeded American, took on Alexander Pop, and he didn't have much trouble at all. Roddick cruises 7-5, 6-4, and 6-4. On the women's side, if you're sad that Anna Kournikova isn't playing anymore, well, take notice. Maria Sharapova is a 17-year-old Russian that looks a lot like that other Russian. This one can play. Sharapova has already signed with a modeling agency, and today she showed that she can still focus on tennis as she took down Amy Frazier in straight sets, 6-4 and 7-5, to reach the quarterfinals. We'll have to keep an eye on her, see how long she lasts before crumbling under the spotlight like Kournikova did. That's all for sports. We'll be back with more news right after this, so please stay with us.
We're ready to play the feud?
When you're playing to win,
Name something that might have a ring around it. A jumbo sweet potato.
be ready to answer appropriately.
Name something a jockey needs.
Jockstrap. I can't believe I said that.
And be fast on the buzzer.
Name something kids are told to take turns using.
You can play along.
Fight, fight, fight.
On Family Feud.
5:30 p.m. weekdays on KGWC CBS 14.
His name is David Letterman, and comedy is his game. His quick wit and clever delivery defy belief. When faced with the trials of the day, this warrior forever emerges undaunted. Some call it the Late Show Theater. Others call it the house that Dave built. The Late Show with David Letterman, weeknights on CBS.
Thunderstorms as another cold.
Lewis and Clark had several encounters with grizzly bears on their journey. Hi, guys. Did you get it? Yeah, we went today. I want to see it. You're in. Wait, you guys, it's my turn. 1, 2.
This summer, you can follow the trails of Lewis and Clark, along with many other exciting tales at your local library. Sign up for a summer reading program near you.
I got one for Oliver, too. Oliver.
There's something for everyone.
Today's lecture, The Meaning of Nuts and Bolts. Nuts are either a food or a state of mental being. Bolts could be hardware or a measurement of cloth. At Denver Mattress, they have uniquely combined the less ordinary meanings to give its customers extraordinary savings.
In other words, Denver Mattress is having a nuts and bolts sale, which means we're offering top quality mattress sets at almost crazy prices just because they're covered with mixed and remnant fabrics. And these are the final days to get 1 year, no payments, and no interest.
However, bolt can also mean the need to move fast.
And for a recap of some of today's top stories, a $1 million federal grant has been awarded to the Casper area schools to boost American history studies. And a statewide session on violence and safety in schools has some 100 professionals in Casper for this week from across the state. And an oil field worker who tried to jump a train had his foot crushed just outside of Powder River today. And here with a recap of weather and sports are Chris and Josh.
Across central Wyoming tonight, we're going to get an overnight low temperature down around 49 degrees with continuing partly cloudy skies and a 30% chance of rain showers and thunderstorms throughout the night, along with mostly mild winds from the southwest and only around 10 miles per hour. And tomorrow we'll get an afternoon high up near a nice warm 81 degrees with partly cloudy skies and a 20% chance of rain showers and thunderstorms, which will possibly be becoming severe at times, and actually very mild wind conditions around just 3 to 7 miles per hour from the southwest. And looking ahead into the rest of the week, showers and thunderstorms will remain in the forecast, especially in the afternoon and evening hours, at least through Thursday and possibly Friday. Right now, the weekend does look clear, but that can always change. And so now let's check in with Josh and sports.
Thanks, Chris. The Casper Rockies are back at home tonight after a disastrous road trip to Ogden, Utah, where they didn't win a game. Tonight they start a 5-game homestand starting with Idaho Falls. The Nuggets are denying reports that head coach Jeff Bzdelik will be fired as soon as this week. The Cavalry are out of the playoffs thanks to the Utah Warriors. They only have 1 game left now. And Wimbledon is still going strong even though they're way behind due to the rain. That's a wrap on sports. Greg, back to you.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Chris. I'm Greg Flatiger. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Byright is the place to be for this 4th